sense activities from this material world. The final aims, however, are different. Jnanis want to become one with the Brahman effulgence. Yogis want to realize Paramatma. And devotees want to develop Krishna consciousness and transcendental loving service to the Lord. That loving service is the perfect stage of sense control. The senses are actually active symptoms of life, and they cannot be stopped. They can be detached only if there is superior engagement. As it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, para drishta nivartate, the activities of the senses can be stopped if they are given superior engagements. The superior engagement is engagement of the senses in the service of the Lord. That is the purpose of all yoga. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya. Sorry. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirate Nashtaprayeshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtuki. ॐ अज्ञान्तिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप खदामयं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिज्जनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणासिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि कृष्णभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पातरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So first of all, I would like to begin by sincerely apologizing to all the Vaishnavas, Prabhupada, and the deities of our temple. Last Sunday, I had the seva of doing the Sunday feast class, and it was in a rush because I like to start and end on time, and the class started late. And I forgot to say the Mangala Charan prayer. It is so important to chant the Mangala Charan prayers, acknowledging the mercy of the Guru Parampara all the way up to Krishna. So for that, I'm very sorry. At least today's class, that was a good reminder, and I was able to do it. So, dear devotees, we are going to be reading from third canto, chapter 32, and text 27. Everyone can see the screen, the slides?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
So, the summary, we go with the summary. We know that this is a dialogue with Kapil Dev and his mother Devahuti. And what Kapil Dev is explaining to her is cause and effect of materialism. So nature of materialism is, the cause, and the effect is the consequences of having these attachment. And also it underscores the importance of why spiritual progress and liberation is not something nice to have, but it is a must have for a Jivatma. And in this entire chapter, there are five key points which highlight this nature of material engagement, entanglement, the attachment, and importance of liberation. Hare Krishna. The first one is material world is a trap. By fruitive desires, all of us have fruitive desires. Fruitive desires is what is in it for me. I want this, and there has to be some kind of a gain or pleasure, sensual pleasure. Please understand that. And that is what leads to the cycle of birth and death. Cycle of birth and death, we become entangled in samsara. In the morning we sing, right? Samsara dava nalalita loka. It's like a burning fire forest. And because of that, we are performing all the desires we have, we perform actions called karma, and through that, all the attachments come about. So, the cycle of birth and death is due to whatever actions we are committing. The actions come because of the desire for sense gratification, and that brings about this attachment. Hare Krishna. Now, we have to understand also the power of the material modes of nature, sattva, rajas, and tamaguna. What it does is, it is the one which is binding us. They are like ropes, it binds us. Now, all of us have these three gunas in some proportion or the other. There is nobody who's only sattvic, or there's nobody who's only fully in ignorance. There are different degrees. So there are these three in different proportion, and that is what ties us. So each one of us has a certain nature which may fall in sattvic, rajasic, the passionate, or the ignorance. And based on that, all our actions are conducted, and that's what determines our future existence. Dhanurdhar Maharaj had said that karma is what happens, actions, right? We get that payback, which is the consequence of material attachment. So karma is what happens. However, destiny is what you make of it, how you respond to whatever is happening. We can either take a step back, pause, and change directions away from this action reaction kind of something like cutting the ropes of guna, or continue to engage with these three gunas, karmas, Hare Krishna. Now, when this is tying up, obviously we'd like to untie ourselves. So, what is the path of liberation? So, what Lord Kapila Dev says is that detachment from material pursuits, we need to get away from this uh, cycle of karma, right? And these desires for sense gratification, and engage in bhakti yoga. That is the only way, actually, and we'll see later slides why it is superior to all the other ways of getting free from this entanglement. And what it's saying is the gradual detachment by cultivating spiritual knowledge and practicing austerities. Practicing austerities is key to any spiritual progress. Austerity. What is austerity? Austerity is the willing, that's the word, the willing acceptance, willingly accepting some hardship or difficulty for a higher purpose. So, in our case, for the sadhakas, getting up early is an austerity, controlling the senses, controlling the tongue, instead of eating anything and everything, partake only of bhoga, which becomes prasad. Things like that. Little things can be austerity. The urge to speak, don't speak any nonsense, controlling the tongue to speak. That is the austerity. So, by cultivating spiritual knowledge, we are doing that morning, evening, asadhana, reading books, cultivating spiritual knowledge and austerities. That will help us engage in devotional service. Then we can get out of this bodily identification, and we'll really know ourselves to be the soul. There's one thing to intellectually understand and appreciate that I'm not the body, I'm the soul, but actually to realize, to actually feel it, right? you need to be doing bhakti yoga, Hare Krishna. So the conclusion of chapter 3 is Prabhupada is saying that it is the highest path. And the last one, if you see here, it is urging us, it is highlighting the need to prioritize spiritual progress over temporary material gain. All of us are in a situation where one leg is in the material boat, the other is on the spiritual practices. Both the boats are going in different direction. There's only that much we have to stretch. And there are times when we jump in the material boat, and there are times when we get a lot of inspiration and we jump fully into the spiritual boat. But the whole idea is to be firmly situated in the spiritual boat and cross this ocean of birth and death. Hare Krishna. Now, specifically today's verse 27, it's saying that goal of yoga is detachment. There are different types of yoga. So it is complete detachment from this material engagement. And then how each yoga offers the pathway to transcendence. Transcendence means spirituality, while sharing the common aim of liberating the soul from material entanglement. So, yoga actually means union. So, union of something to something. So, on one end is Shri Krishna and spirituality, and here we are the spirit soul that is caught up in the material entanglement. So, the process of pulling this out and connecting it, reconnecting actually, that is yoga. Hare Krishna. So it is union with the absolute truth. Absolute truth is a person. The person is called Shri Krishna. So what yoga involves is you need to get away from all these material entanglements and attachment, and it will bring about liberation. Now there are these three types of yoga. One is bhakti yoga, where you have the union through devotion. All the senses are engaged in loving service to Krishna. Now it is unique because all whatever you're doing, material activities, is actually dovetailed into spiritual engagement. So there is nothing, it's less austere, let's put it that way. Hare Krishna. Then what the bhakti yogi aspires to do is his whole purpose is to serve Krishna, right? Then you have the jnani yogi, the intellectual union through yoga. They consider that, everything is false, not this, not this. Only Brahman is reality, right? That's the eternal truth. And intellectual detachment, that's what they do by cultivating knowledge and renunciation. So, not this, not this, not this. They reject everything and they say only Brahman. Yes, they're right. There's only Brahman, which is the reality. But matter, when it talks about illusion, it is real. Matter is real, but it is illusory in the sense that it is on and off, on. So it is eternally on and off, like a blinking light. It's not to say there's no light at all. Hare Krishna. And what they do is they want to merge into Brahman. Brahman, you can look at it as the light, which is constant, the effulgence of Krishna. And what they do is they seek liberation by their own identity. They say it's nothing. We just want to, it's part of that. We want to merge into that. Hare Krishna. And then you have the Ashtanga Yogi. They do it through mysticism. They have this very, very strict and austere eightfold processes. So, yeah, yama, rules, regulations, do's, don'ts, this, that. What it does is it's trying to control the senses and the mind, almost next to impossible, especially in this age of Kali Yuga, where it is very, very disturbed. So it is a very gradual, slow process compared to Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga can be instantaneous and spontaneous. Then the question comes that, oh, I've been doing it for so many years. How come still I'm not at that stage where I have the detachment and that bliss of uh, practicing Bhakti Yoga? That is because one foot is still in the material boat. We still have material desires. We still have desires separate from Krishna. So yoga, as I said, is union. The Mayavadi wants to enter into the Brahman and dissolve his identity, and he says, "Yeah, that's becoming one." However, devotee doesn't want to become one in his spiritual identity. He realizes he will always be a unique identity, part and parcel of Krishna. He wants to be one with the desire. Please understand, aligning his desires. So it's no longer ahamta mamata, it is Krishna. Hare Krishna. And the Ashtanga Yogi focuses on realizing the localized aspect, Paramatma, of the localized aspect of Shri Krishna called Paramatma, Hare Krishna. So now, to conclude this, there are three aspects. What is the philosophy? Why Bhakti Yoga is superior? And then what we can make of all of this. Hare Krishna. First is detachment and reorientation. So all purpose of all yoga, whatever it be, is detaching the senses from material enjoyment. However, it is possible through superior engagement. Other two is guaranteed to fail. It is temporary and next to impossible, especially in this current condition of ours. The Mayavadi, he'll get into the Brahma Jyoti until a certain time, till such time, whatever his credits are there, pious credits, and whatever he has done in this material world is over. And again, he comes back into this cycle of birth and death. You cannot be just controlling your mind. It has to have a higher taste. And that higher taste is called Bhakti Yoga, and it engages the senses in divine service. That's the detachment and reorientation. Now, you see our senses, the soul is active, the soul is not inert. The soul is Sat Chit, Anand, Chit. Chit, all that awareness brings about that activity, and it cannot be stopped. You cannot stop your senses. You cannot. It's just not possible. So to uh, to tamp down the senses through the other processes of yoga is is guaranteed to fail. It's not effective at all. Instead of that, there's a martial art called Aikido. So in Aikido, what it does is if a force is coming towards you, a punch, you're not blocking it with another force over here. When that is coming towards you, you're redirecting it. That's what it does. So, similarly, over here in the spiritual pursuits, the force of material nature, the gunas are so strong. And here we are trying through our own limited capacity to fight with it. There may be just temporary victories here and there, but it is not lasting. However, that same force which is coming can be applied to bhakti in service of Krishna. What happens in such a that is the principle of Yukta Vairagya. That guarantees success. Then the supreme engagement. So Bhagavad Gita 2.59 says this. It can only be controlled by having a higher taste. In absence of having a higher taste, there's nothing wrong with having uh, uh, gratification. There's nothing wrong in being blissful and joyful, in having pleasure. It is what kind of pleasure. If the pleasure is instigated by ahamta mamata and fruitive gains, then it is very detrimental. But the same pleasure, if it is to please Krishna and that gives a much, much higher taste, then that activity itself, correct, is perfectly bona fide. Hare Krishna. So he fulfills this by higher taste through loving service. So Bhagavatam also says that Savai Pumsa Paro Dharma Yato Bhakti Radokshaje Ahitukiya Pratihata Yayatmi Suprasiddhati Yayatmi Suprasiddhiti, that which completely satisfies the spirit soul. Hare Krishna. Now, why is Bhakti Yoga superior? There are these other two. We have some understanding. So, what it does is it connects the soul with Krishna directly. There's a direct connection. There's no via media. It's not going through Krishna's aspect of Brahman. It's not going to Krishna's aspect of Paramatma. It's going directly to Krishna, Bhakti Yoga. And then even our day-to-day, everyday activities makes it accessible to all. Everyone eats, so everyone has the opportunity to engage in bhakti yoga. No one is disqualified. Whereas if you're going to do Ashtanga yoga, There has to be, my God, all these eightfold processes, right? How difficult that is. Here is whatever we are doing, we are bringing it to uh, using that same whatever we do in Krishna's service. Hare Krishna. So it's basically repurposing our activities. And then Bhakti Yoga, we experience without any bliss, without any renouncing activities. When you give up something, there's always that feeling that, especially something that is so attached to it, feels like a loss when you give up something. However, when whatever was that pleasure you're getting, you go and divert it to something which is giving more pleasure, that looks like garbage. Dhruva Maharaj wanted a huge, huge property and control and kingdom. But when he actually got bhakti, he says all that is just broken pieces of glass. I have got diamond. So that seems insignificant. So this is why Bhakti Yoga is superior. And to conclude, that all of them aim at liberation yoga methods. The end result differs, and Bhakti Yoga stands out as the most effective and direct path. Hare Krishna. So this verse, there's my alarm. It's 5 minutes more. So, Prabhu's Mataji's, this particular verse inspires devotees to embrace Bhakti Yoga, and because that's the easiest and the highest method of union with the Absolute Truth. Hare Krishna. Any questions? We have 4 minutes, 5 minutes, or a comment. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandvat.
So, Prabhuji, what is the difference between Mayavadi and that Gyan Yoga who are following the Gyan Yoga?
We'll talk first about uh, the similarities, Prabhu. Both of them, whatever, when you talk about yoga, what you're trying to do in yoga, Prabhuji, is you're getting away from the material entanglement and seeking liberation. Now, getting away from material entanglement, there's a certain process. If you want to go to uh, uh, New York, you could drive, you could go by bicycle, you could go walking, you could take NJ Transit, you could also take the helicopter, or you could even take the ferry. There are different paths. So, what you're doing is, my purpose is to get to New York from New Jersey. So, similarly, we are in this material entanglement, and the yogis take these different paths. Now, when you're talking about a Mayavadi, the path which he's doing is through knowledge and detachment, renunciating, not this, not that, not this, not that, rejecting everything, because he's saying that aham brahmasmi, and everything is doesn't matter, it's all illusory. Whereas the Ashtanga yogi, his process is to go through a very strict and disciplined, what they call the eightfold processes to control the senses. You see, our senses are always chanchala, it's always turbulent. One thought, this, and we can know how turbulent it is during japa time. How many thoughts come in this mind? So they're trying to control that mind. And to control the mind, they have these eight processes which they do, right? And then gradual, little, they get to that stage. So the uh, end result for a Mayavadi is, he says that effulgence is the only reality, the Brahman is the only reality, and he wants to go in over there and remain there in bliss. The Ashtanga yogi, through all these controlling of the senses, he wants to have self-realization and of the Paramatma aspect of the who's residing within. So that for him is all in all. But you learn through the scriptures and through the acharyas that Brahman and Paramatma are just partial realization. The real end goal is Bhagwan realization. And that's what, through devotion and only through devotion we can get it. Hare Krishna. Does that answer your question?
No, Prabhuji, I will connect you separately. So my question was, what is the difference between Jnani and Mayavadi? So is there both the same or both are different? So Ashtanga Yogi, I got it, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I mean, give me a second, please.
Are Jnanis the same as a Mayavadi or they are
Yeah, Prabhu. Jnana.
Okay.
Like, see this Jnana Yoga, Jnana Gyan, it's just a pronunciation, is a Mayavadi. The intellectual detachment by cultivating knowledge. Knowledge is Jnana,
Okay.
by Jnana. So Jnana Yogis are Mayavadis.
Okay. Got it, Prabhuji.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I thought it was Jnani and Ashtanga Yogi. Yeah, they're the same.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Mayavadis because they say that everything is false, Maya. This first line, right? Matter is illusion. So, not this, not this, not this. They reject even Bhagwan principle. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, they consider that I am the God, right? Mayavadi consider I am a God.
They consider I am a God in the sense that, yes, Brahman, even I am Brahman. I'm one with God. And that's why they want to merge into God. Like they give the example that this body is like a pot, and in the pot there is air, but there's air also outside. And when the pot breaks, the air and the air inside the pot and the air outside the pot, everything becomes one. Hare Krishna. Very good. It's 7 o'clock, so let's bring it to a close. Madhupati Prabhu is not on the call. He is in India. So thank you very much, dear devotees. We wish you a remainder week filled with Krishna conscious thoughts, words, and activities. We'll chant 3 times the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram.
Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let us pray to Lord Nrsimhadev to protect us and whatever attempts that we are trying to do in our sadhana bhakti and help keep us away from all these material entanglements and attachments. Ugram Viram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvottamukam Narshingam Bhishmam Bhadram Mrityum Vidyam Namamiham. Jai Narsimha Shri Narsimha Jai Jai Narsimha Deva Praladesh Jai Padma Mukapadma Bringa. We offer our respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnavas on this call and in the universe with the prayer Vanchakalpa
Vanchakalpatarubhyacha kripa sindhubhyo च
Patita
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Vaishnavrinda
की
ki
जय।
Srila Prabhupada ki
जय
jai Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai
जय
Vaishnavrinda ki jai
जय।
Gaur Premanandi
हरे
Hari
हरि हरि बोल।
Thank you
Thank you so
everybody
much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, everyone.